In the 2020s, there's been a growing resurgence of Christians who aren't afraid to use hard or culturally offensive terms. Many in this movement reject the term complementarian as too soft, preferring patriarchy or biblical patriarchy. Notable voices include online teachers like Brian Sauvé, Michael Foster, and Dale Partridge. Unlike complementarianism, biblical patriarchy doesn't trace back to a single defining document like the Danvers Statement, making it hard to pin down. But we can still summarize the key distinctions. Non-Tenet explains the first. Patriarchalists believe that the roles we are assigned are not arbitrary, but fitting given our natures. Because men have a certain nature, they therefore ought to act, speak, dress, etc. in distinctively masculine ways. And the same is true of women, who should act out of their feminine nature. In other words, biblical patriarchalists argue that gender roles flow from nature, not just divine decree. The distinction isn't simply about duties, it's about ontology. Tenet continues, by denying the underlying nature that God created, which grounds the roles themselves, they make God's commands arbitrary. Many will outright say that God could just as well have chosen to make wives the head of the household. And some, like Jacob Denhollander, will even say that there is no ontological reason, no reason having to do with the nature of men and women, that Jesus had to be a man. Dale Partridge highlights another difference. Unlike the complementarian view, which confines male leadership to the familial and ecclesiastical domains, biblical patriarchy is consistent by extending male authority to all societal aspects, including civil governance and social life. So as you can see, the main thrust of biblical patriarchy is emphasizing that gender roles aren't arbitrary.
Perhaps there's good reason for that.
But are rooted in the distinct natures of man and woman. And because they're not arbitrarily applied, they must extend into civic life, not just the home and the church. To say that a woman can't be a pastor, but could lead troops in battle or govern a nation, is to deny an ontological difference between men and women. It reduces God's design to a set of role assignments rather than something grounded in creation itself. And if that's the case, it would seem that God's prohibition of female pastors is arbitrary. Now, to be fair, the belief that gender roles are rooted in our distinct natures, and that those roles apply to all of life, doesn't actually contradict complementarianism, since the Danvers Statement doesn't speak to those areas. In that sense, biblical patriarchy isn't rejecting complementarianism, but simply going further.
Or to say have you?
It's not contradicting the system, it's adding to it.
Don't stop here. Finish the video above to learn even more about the similarities and differences between complementarianism and biblical patriarchy.